5 things North Korea hides from the world beneath the carefully orchestrated facade of grand parades and state-sponsored propaganda. North Korea guards its enigmatic secrets with an iron curtain. In this riveting episode, we embark on a journey to unravel the clandestine truths hidden beneath the surface, 5 closely guarded secrets that the secretive nation desperately hopes to shield from the international spotlight. As we delve into the shadows, prepare to be captivated by the untold stories that defy the scripted narrative. Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourself for revelations that challenge the very essence of what we think we know about North Korea. Subscribe to Cultination now and join us as we peel back the layers of mystery in this daring exploration of the Forbidden Realms. Powerful armed forces. The armed forces of North Korea, in many ways, resemble an ever-evolving military saga, woven with strategic complexities and persistent mysteries. Let's delve into the narrative of a military force that has captured global attention, combining the flair of military discipline with the enigmatic determination of a regime centered around its supreme leader, Kim Jong-un. At the core of this military might lies the status of one of the world's largest contingents, a force of 1 million men and women whose training is steeped in almost legendary rigor. This army, known as the Korean People's Army, presents itself as the dedicated guardian of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, DPRK. The backbone of this force lies in its imposing numbers, but one should not underestimate the quality that accompanies the quantity. North Korean soldiers, despite economic sanctions and international isolation, are instilled with a code of honor and loyalty to the regime that transcends external challenges. The North Korean regime, imbued with a Juche ideology, relies on the idea of self-sufficiency and independent determination. This mentality is reflected in the military, where each soldier is considered an essential link in an indomitable chain. The carefully coordinated olive-green uniforms, the steady marching, the impeccable alignment of troops during grand parades in Pyongyang all contribute to the image of a disciplined force ready to answer the call of duty. The cult of personality surrounding successive leaders of North Korea, from Kim Il-sung to Kim Jong-un, is also reflected in the military. Soldiers are educated in the ideology of the ruling party, a complex blend of nationalism, militarism, and devotion to the supreme leader. This fervent loyalty has often been described as an operational force in itself, capable of eliciting extraordinary commitment even in challenging conditions. On the material front, the North Korean army showcases a variety of equipment, from heavy artillery to ballistic missiles. Although the country's isolation has hindered access to advanced technologies, the DPRK has managed to develop an arsenal capable of posing a serious regional threat. Images from periodic military parades reveal an array of weapons and vehicles, each element displaying the pride of a determined nation. The most publicized element of the North Korean arsenal is undoubtedly its nuclear program. The country's nuclear tests have generated global concerns, contributing to a climate of diplomatic tension. North Korea, with its declared nuclear power status, has succeeded in placing its army at the center of international negotiations and influencing geopolitical dynamics. A turbulent past. The division of Korea into 2 distinct entities, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, DPRK, in the north and the Republic of Korea in the south, has its roots in the complexities of the post-World War II era. In 1945, following Japan's defeat, the Korean Peninsula, which had been under Japanese occupation since 1910, became a focal point of tensions among the Allied powers. The 30th parallel was chosen as a temporary demarcation line between the Soviet-occupied zone in the north and the American-occupied zone in the south, marking the beginning of the Korean division. Amid the Cold War context, the United States supported an anti-communist government in the south, while the Soviet Union favored a communist regime in the north, led by Kim Il-sung. In June 1950, the situation reached a breaking point when North Korean forces, supported by China and the USSR, invaded the south, triggering the Korean War. Lasting until July 1953, the war became a major theater of the Cold War, involving UN forces primarily led by the United States in support of the South. Canada also played a role, with approximately 500 Canadian military personnel losing their lives in this devastating conflict that claimed over 5 million lives in total. The Korean War concluded with an armistice rather than a formal peace treaty, leaving the peninsula divided by the Demilitarized Zone, DMZ, at the 38th parallel. Consequently, North Korea and South Korea technically remain in a state of war, and the DMZ has become a heavily fortified border. The legacy of this division persists today, with two Koreas having diametrically opposed political, economic, and social systems. North Korea's totalitarian regime, perpetuating Kim Il-sung's vision, keeps the country in notorious isolation, while South Korea has evolved into a thriving democracy and a regional economic powerhouse. Thus, the division of Korea into two distinct entities is the result of a complex interplay of historical, ideological, and geopolitical factors, crystallized in the tragedy of the Korean War. The border that separates the two nations continues to reflect the scars of that tumultuous period in world history while embodying the enduring hope and challenges of a future reconciliation. The Ugliest Building in 2008, Esquire magazine, with its keen sense of subtlety, decisively proclaimed a distinction as clear as the color of non-noble margarine. The culprit of this bold recognition, the Ryugyong Hotel, located in the heart of North Korea, a structure so charming that even statues of Lenin seem to crack an embarrassed smile when looking at it. Bestowed with the coveted title of the ugliest building on the planet, the Ryugyong Hotel is an architectural odyssey that began as a promising construction saga in 1987, a concrete aficionado's fairy tale, boasting an imposing height of 105 floors, all crowned with a pyramidal shape that inspires admiration as much as dubious comparisons to a stack of cubes arranged by a 3-year-old. The name Ryugyong might seem straight out of fiction, but it humbly refers to Pyongyang's nickname, the capital of willows. You're probably wondering why a hotel needs a nickname. Well, the establishment seems to have adopted a go big or go home approach even in nomenclature. Might as well call a cat a tiger and a small hill a miniature Everest. The story of the Ryugyong Hotel is one of a rapid ascent followed by an even swifter descent. Designed to be completed by 1989, the building quickly ran into troubles as Soviet funds began to dry up with the fall of the communist bloc in 1991. Imagine a birthday cake without candles. The idea was there, but the sparkle was sorely lacking. This is when the Ryugyong had its own episode of extreme makeover. Hotel Edition. 3 decades before television embarked on such ventures, the Egyptian consortium Orascom Group, experts in telecoms and construction, stepped in to shake the dusty foundations of the project. In this regard, the Ryugyong became the awkward celebrity no one wanted to deal with, but eventually caught the attention of a compassionate public relations agent. With an imposing structure reaching 330 meters, the hotel can boast the privilege of dominating the skyline of the North Korean capital, a bit like an intrusive neighbor standing in front of your window, waving their arms to get your attention, but on the scale of an entire city. However, the towering grandeur can mask the fact that the Ryugyong carries nicknames that wouldn't fare well in polite conversation. The Hotel of Death and the Ghost Hotel are appellations that do little to conceal the building's unflattering reputation. Rumors circulated like phoenixes flying over a dilapidated city, announcing a partial opening in April 2012. This carefully chosen date would coincide with the 100th anniversary of Kim Il-sung, offering the world an opportunity to celebrate in style, even if the object of the party was closer to a night owl than a dazzling firework. The Ryugyong Hotel, in addition to being a case study for aspiring architects on what not to do, has also earned its place in the club of superlatives. Ranked as the 40th tallest building on the planet, it stands just behind the China World Trade Center 3 in Beijing, as if these two buildings were trying to console each other. Continued oppression. North Korea stands as a notorious enclave where human rights are systematically violated, a poignant reality corroborated by leading international organizations such as the UN and Amnesty International. This bleak picture extends across various aspects of the daily lives of North Korean citizens, held captive by a totalitarian regime ruled with an iron fist by the Kim dynasty. Although universally criticized on the international stage, the North Korean regime categorically denies allegations of human rights violations. Yet, poignant testimonies from survivors and detailed reports from humanitarian organizations shed a harsh light on the reality of endemic abuses in the country. The state's control over the daily lives of North Koreans is suffocating. Free expression is a foreign concept in a country where divergent thinking is stifled and any criticism of leadership is ruthlessly suppressed. Citizens live in a constant climate of fear, fearing severe consequences for the slightest perceived infraction. The omnipresent state surveillance system, supported by a vast network of informants, maintains constant control over the population. Denunciations, real or perceived, can lead to arbitrary arrests, torture, and severe sentences in labor camps, often compared to gulags. The caste system, a tragic element of the North Korean governance model, divides society based on perceived loyalty to the regime. Members of families presumed disloyal may face persecution spanning multiple generations, creating an atmosphere of collective apprehension. On the economic front, international sanctions imposed due to North Korea's nuclear program have exacerbated already difficult living conditions. Food shortages and malnutrition affect a significant portion of the population, with reports of citizens forced to eat grass to survive. Restricted access to information from the outside world and intense propaganda perpetuate a mental isolation that reinforces regime control. The use of fear and psychological manipulation proves to be effective tools in maintaining loyalty to the leaders. Ideological dynasty. The official ideology of North Korea, Juche, profoundly shapes the structure of the regime. Inspired by communism, this doctrine, advocated by Kim Il-sung, the regime's founder and grandfather of the current leader, Kim Jong-un, emphasizes national self-reliance. Juche aims to establish an independent state detached from foreign influences and is based on a complex blend of political, economic, and social ideas. This totalitarian regime is built around a personality cult of the current leader. After Kim Il-sung's death in 1994, his son Kim Jong-il inherited the title of Supreme Leader, thus perpetuating the dynasty. Hereditary power was further consolidated with Kim Jong-un's rise to power in 2011. Following his father's death, the personality cult, predominant in the political and social spheres, serves to maintain unconditional loyalty to the Kim dynasty. This dynastic continuity, combined with Juche, forms the ideological foundation of the North Korean regime, a political structure that, across generations, has maintained authoritarian control over the country, solidifying the leader's grip and perpetuating an autocratic vision of power. There you have it. We've delved into the secret behind the scenes of North Korea on Cultination. These revelations underscore the importance of lifting the veil of mystery to understand the complexities of this enigmatic country. If you enjoyed this dive, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay tuned for our future explorations. Thank you for joining us, and until next time on Cultination.